Hello and welcome to the Sunday recap. I'm Big Italy 42. He is Jason Gilbo at jgilbo11 on Twitter, and we're recapping all the action from Sunday. And first one starts off on kind of a sour note and a disappointing note for people who had big time shares of the Chiefs. Bears and Chiefs here. Obviously, Jamal Charles. They're saying that substantial injury, significant injury, whatever you want to say. Looks like a torn ACL. I haven't seen anything official yet. It's Monday morning now. And so, as you look at this one, it was kind of an ugly game. We saw the Chiefs had, two possessions on offense in the first quarter, and then a defensive touchdown. And as someone who had a lot of Chiefs shares, it was very nerve-wracking early in this one.
Yeah, I was hoping. I had a nice little Chiefs stack going. I had Macklin, Charles, and Smith. I was like, all right, a couple screen passes here, Macklin touchdown, it'd be good to go. But, after Charles went out, they looked like they had no idea what to do on offense.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Pierre Thomas is out there. I would love to see him be worked out for the Chiefs.
Right? And
just
he's a pass catcher. It would work out well there. And I was kind of surprised, I guess, to see, we've seen before Niall Davis be the guy that comes in, but now we see Charcandrick West come in, which, first of all, awesome name. He's automatically a top 5 name of players who are actually going to play now. But, it looks like he's going to be the guy that gets the carries now instead of Niall Davis. So all the people that are stashing Niall Davis, good luck with that. Because it doesn't look like he's going to be the guy. But we saw Jay Cutler once again kind of make a late run, and that play he made at the end with the touchdown pass to Forte after it looked like, it was a botched snap, could have easily been a fumble, turnover, and then recovered, made that great throw. So, the Bears, outside of Forte and Wilson and Cutler, didn't really do much. Martellus Bennett really just had nothing. He had 11 targets, like you mentioned here, but only 4 catches. So, but still, though, 4 for 70 or 4 for 32, still one of the better tight end performances somehow on this week because a lot of duds on the tight end position. Redskins and Falcons here, overtime game, and this one was not pretty. We saw, if you were a Julio Jones owner, really did nothing the entire game aside from falling on a touchdown pass or a fumble that Devontae Freeman fumbled into the end zone. And it looked, he didn't look healthy. He still had a decent line for someone not named Julio Jones. But, this one, as we all knew, of course, Jacob Tamme was the guy you wanted in this passing game, right?
Yeah, everyone went over to Leonard Hankerson.
Yeah.
But, nope, Jacob Tamme stole the show. Led the team in receptions and yards. But Devonta Freeman, another one. Another week, I can't even explain it anymore. Against a pretty good Washington defense, I think. They've been pretty physical and tough on the run so far this season, so another impressive line for him.
Yeah, and I hate to do it, but I'm certainly going to say I was wrong on Freeman this week. I said he was a fade and cash games, and a guy I didn't have any shares in tournaments, not a single one, because I was just worried about his ownership level. His increased price, but I definitely whiffed on that one. You got to look back at him now. It seems like closer to a trend and almost like what you can expect. He just looks, maybe it's a confidence thing. The guy was always a good athlete. It just never really translated to much. So on the Redskins side, we saw Kirk Cousins just look through and miss receivers all day long. He missed Pierre Garçon on one, and then Garçon had a drop. Jamison Crowder, though, like you mentioned here, had himself a nice game, catching 15 of 20 targets over the last 2 weeks for 153 yards. But, for a guy who's small, like you mentioned here, he's only 5'8". This is not a big guy, but, he's got great hands. He runs good routes, so this is definitely a guy to monitor looking forward. And that Redskins running game, you kind of thought someone would have success against the Falcons, and everyone was equally terrible.
Yeah, that 3-back system is horrible. I don't even want to... I think Jones had the touchdown, but he rushed for 3 yards on the entire day, so, it's just bad.
Yeah,
but
it's a bad offense in general. So, but and they almost pulled it out too. So the Falcons ended up with the pick 6 after I'm not sure who it was. One of the receivers fell down, and it was just a walk into the end zone. So Falcons didn't deserve it, but got the win here. And Jags at the Bucks here. One of the lowest totals of the week ended up being the biggest shootout of the week, and Blake Bortles, last time I checked, was on just about every one of the non-Andy Dalton lineups at the top of every tournament. Huge game for him, but I think the real big story here was Doug Martin, who once again had another big game. 3 touchdowns, over 150 total yards, and Charles Sims even had a nice game, mostly out of the backfield receiving here too. So all of a sudden, two offenses that everyone liked to make fun of that were been two of the worst in the league the last couple of years. All of a sudden, these two teams put up almost 70 points yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at Martin, pretty good start to the season so far. 4.5 yards per carry, 400 yards of rushing already. I mean, Winston didn't have to do much, which was kind of disappointing because I had some Mike Evans shares, but he just had 5 targets for 41 yards. But yeah, I mean, Tampa looked pretty good, and looking at Hearns and Robinson, another big day for both of them. You kind of gotta like this passing attack, and now with Julius Thomas coming back, not bad, especially in that division where there's some poor secondaries.
Yeah, they could certainly put up some numbers, and like you said with Thomas, I mean, he was had a limited snap count this week, but I mean, you add another target to that offense, it's already got 2 legit receivers, and like you mentioned here, Yeldon got a receiving touchdown, had an okay game, left with an injury. It looks like he'll probably be fine for next week, but I mean, all of a sudden the Jags are a formidable offense that are definitely probably not going to be nearly as low owned as they have been recently. So look at that moving forward. Saints and the Eagles. This one was a close game in the third quarter, tie game even, and then all of a sudden you change the channel, you cut back to it, and it's a 29-point game. And the Eagles' offense, the rushing attack in particular, and Bradford too. I mean, Murray, Matthews both had good games. Bradford had a huge game, which meant that Jordan Matthews was a big letdown for everybody somehow.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second week in a row where, Bradford's finding Brent Selleck in the end zone. He's finding Josh Huff. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's going to be a guessing game each week. But, I mean, the running game looked pretty good, actually, and that's the first time this year that's happened.
Yeah, seems like those guys, Murray, Matthews, kind of the 1-2 punch that we thought they would be originally early in the season, first time they both showed up. So, a guy like Murray still maybe a little bit overpriced on a place like FanDuel, but, Matthews, if we know he's going to get a decent workload, definitely a guy you can look at moving forward. The Browns and Ravens, this one was a fun game to watch, another overtime game, and it was interesting, though, because we saw 63 points, and we saw, the Browns and Josh McCown just have a huge game, and he just did not stop. That catch that Gary Barnidge had with his legs and not with his hands was absolutely ridiculous. And, I mean, we talked a little before the show about it. This is just more and more evidence that this Ravens team is bad, and the secondary in itself, I mean, it might be the worst one in football. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's very bad. I mean, if you're allowing McCown to throw for over 400 yards, I mean, no knock against him, but that's bad.
Yeah, it was not pretty. And on the Ravens side, Forsett had a solid game, and didn't quite get as many goal line looks as me and other Forsett owners would have liked, but still a very, very nice game. Joe Flacco did steal 2 of his touchdowns, but Joe Flacco seems like the kind of the guy that would steal a man's touchdowns twice and not feel bad about it. So I realized that we kind of skipped over, well, I kind of skipped over Seahawks Bengals up here as we were talking.
How could you do that?
I know. I was my favorite game of the week, of course, and a great comeback there. But speaking of Andy Dalton, all of a sudden he's got the most fantasy points, depending on your scoring, but standard scoring, most fantasy points of any quarterback there. And I mean, as a lifelong Cincinnati Bengals fan, and one who's seen Andy Dalton, you hesitate to be a believer. But after a game like this against this defense, I mean, there's no way you can't be a believer in Andy Dalton now. And this offense, I mean, if you could put up these type of points, and especially late and on consistent drives against this team, then the sky's definitely the limit there.
Yeah, I mean, another rushing touchdown. That was the one that shocked me. But, I mean, the guy just looks like a totally different player out there. Yep. Confident, goes after it. And Tyler Eifert, I think, is kind of one of the bigger reasons why Dalton's having such success so far this season. 8 receptions, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's just a monster.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, it seems like, the whole thing with Dalton is, the injury, or the guys being healthy, no more injuries. But it seems like he's playing kind of like he's got nothing to lose, where he's like, everybody hates me. They think I'm terrible, so watch this. And, it looked for a minute after the interception in the end zone, he was going to kind of revert back to playing like scared Dalton, but turned it around quickly. I mean, you definitely got to love the confidence there. And a guy who threw 2 interceptions at home, first one at home since, what would they say, 2012. First time he's had 2 interceptions at home since, I think, 2011. Aaron Rodgers against the Rams threw 2 picks. Granted, one of them was incredible diving interception, jumping in front of the receiver. But, I mean, obviously the throw was a little bit late anyway. But the big issue in this one was the Rams kind of shut down some key pieces for the Packers. I mean, we saw Eddie Lacy had a terrible game. We saw Randall Cobb virtually non-existent. We saw Ty Montgomery and James Jones score touchdowns. But, Randall Cobb and Eddie Lacy are the guys people mostly target in these games. And I know you and I both had some shares of these guys. And, I mean, they just got completely shut down. And the Rams, with that terrible, terrible passing attack, they just give the ball to Todd Gurley every time and just let him do work. And that's what he's been continuing to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only shot the Rams had to even make it close, and they knew it because Foles 4 interceptions. I mean, for what the game was, I mean, the Packers were ahead the entire time, but handing the ball off to Gurley 30 times, I mean, that's something I didn't really expect, but God, he's off to a pretty incredible start to his career so far.
Yeah, he's going back to the SEC ways there, like you said. He's just, they say, look, we got a dominant back or potentially dominant back, just give him the ball. If you want to stop him, stop him. But, I mean, he's a fun guy to watch. I mean, the guy, he's strong, he's fast. I mean, he's definitely going to be a special player, and he's not really expensive at all right now either. So that's definitely
tossing
nice.
Clay Matthews over his head. I mean,
yeah. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely look that up because that was incredible. Next one up was probably the ugliest game of the weekend. As far as both sides, the one after this is probably the ugliest game. But the Bills and the Titans here. Tyrod Taylor was horrible in the first half. The Bills were horrible for the entire game. Taylor really only managed to salvage his game a little bit with touchdown runs, two touchdown runs. I think he had a little bit over 100 yards there. And the Titans, I mean, Mariota was he was good enough to have them in this game, but just couldn't finish drives. I mean, you saw so many times he was at the 20, 25, 30-yard line and just couldn't finish the drive. And the biggest disappointment in this one was Charles Clay. I mean, Titans came into this game as worst team in the league against tight ends, and then Charles Clay, 1 catch for 7 yards. But at the same time, I think that was more a product of the Bills just being awful and than anything else. And Boobie Dixon, a value play a lot of people were on. Fortunately, I avoided that landmine, but, I mean, he didn't even end up having the most carries on the team.
Yeah, I mean, looking at next week, because, I mean, I think Carlos Williams is going to be out another week. McCoy's still 2, 3, 4 weeks away. I'm not touching that situation because it looks like it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. And speaking of not pretty, Cardinals at the Lions. You feel bad for the Lions now at this point because you see, it wasn't even that Carson Palmer just picked him apart like a lot of us thought he might. I mean, he threw 16 passes and 3 of them were touchdowns, and the Lions still lost by 32 points. So, I mean, at this point, Jim Caldwell's got to be looking over his shoulder and like you almost got to keep your cell phone off if you're Jim Caldwell because that call's got to be coming pretty soon. Because I mean, this team, yes, last week was kind of a close call. They had a chance, a botched call, whatever it may have been. But turning around with this type of performance just shows you the last week was just a fluke. It was more of a product of Seattle not playing well because I mean, this team just got dominated in all facets.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, they just looked so good. I mean, running the ball, Chris Johnson over 100 yards. Ellington had off that monster run for a touchdown. David Johnson, even 2 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, going forward, I have no idea what to expect from anyone in the run game because it's just so dynamic on all 3 players. But, God, the Cardinals just look good.
Yeah, they look so good. And, I mean, a week removed from that game, it was kind of a disappointment against the Rams. And I know they burned me with their team defense in that one. Maybe I should have gone back to it against the Lions. And it looks like the Lions might be a nice streaming defense target from here forward. Because, I mean, you always got Calvin Johnson, but if Matt Stafford can't get him the ball, then, I mean, he's kind of a decoy at best out there. Yeah. It's an ugly situation. Patriots and Cowboys. Cowboys kept this one close for a while and was kind of surprising, but it was more of a product of the defense actually stepping up and playing fairly well. And then the Patriots realized this was the Cowboys only in name and not the fact that it's almost like they didn't realize there was no Romo and no Bryant and no Lance Dunbar. And this one got pretty ugly there by the end of the second half. And really the only thing that we all know the story with the Patriots. Everyone has huge games, everyone's potential, but Darren McFadden kind of taking over that Lance Dunbar role all of a sudden has decent value now in PPR.
Yeah, I mean, 9 receptions for 62 yards. That's pretty impressive at his price. Against a decent New England defense as well. So it could be a sneaky play going forward because, I mean, it seems like Brandon Weeden just checks down 95% of the time anyway. So,
yeah. And some speculation now that maybe Matt Castle ends up coming in and starting. And I mean, it's not like he's any different than Brandon Weeden. I mean, he's he's different in name, but it's the same type of quarterback still. Still not going to have any real deep threats and going to be kind of a check down. But, maybe he's a little bit more accurate because we have seen Matt Castle at times at least be an adequate quarterback. I mean, the Browns didn't want Brandon Weeden. So, I mean, that's the state of that. Let's be honest. Next up, the Broncos and the Raiders. And this was a tale of the Broncos being incredible on one side and terrible on the other side. And, in years past, you would imagine, it was the offense exploding and the defense struggling, but not the case. I mean, this defense looks incredible. Obviously, it was the Raiders, but this is a Raiders offense that has weapons. They got completely shut down. And, I mean, Peyton Manning and company, outside of Emmanuel Sanders, who, I mean, when you're wide open on every play, it's not hard to have a decent game there, but that offense looks awful, and I really want no part of it outside of Emmanuel Sanders right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I can't rely on Demaryius Thomas right now for his price going forward. The running game is just awful. It's something I'm not even touching at all. C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman, both pathetic again. Yeah, Sanders looks like the guy. I mean, led the team in targets again. PPR site like DraftKings, I think you really got to love him there.
Yeah, and I mean, he got the 100-point or 100-yard bonus there as well,
Yeah.
So that was certainly nice. And then 49ers and Giants, and, this one, I was anticipating an ugly performance because the Giants have looked good on offense, Niners have looked bad on defense, and, I mean, Niners have looked bad in all facets of the game, really. So I kind of expected the Giants to roll in this one, and the offense did. The offense looked great. Running game didn't really do much, but Eli Manning threw for well over 400 yards, 441, 54 attempts like you put in here. That's crazy. And, I mean, I guess the surprise in this one is the 49ers offense actually showed up. And for those many of us who had the Giants defense in way too many lineups, that was a big-time disappointment. I mean, they didn't make a single play against Kaepernick last night.
No, I mean, I expected him to throw at least 2 or 3 picks maybe. But, yeah, I mean, it didn't happen. I mean, the Niners have playmakers that we can use in DFS, but it all hinges on Kaepernick. I mean, that's really all it comes down to because Hyde, if Kaepernick's not doing anything, Hyde's not going to be able to break through an 8-man box there. So we saw that last night, and Kaepernick had success, and so did Hyde.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Giants defense making a lot of mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed like I know of at least 2 instances where Kaepernick just kind of lobbed the ball over the shoulder to Anquan Boldin. I mean, it was never, no one turned around, no one got a hand in the way. It was dumb penalties. So, I mean, it was not a pretty situation for the Giants defense, but the offense, I mean, Manning and Odell Beckham, even Larry Donnell had that big catch to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like a good offensive target moving forward, but the defense, jury may still be out on the defense now. It looked like they were kind of, making a name for themselves, but they did not look good in this one at all.
Yeah, I think we all looked a little too much into that one and just said, "Oh, okay, Niners suck."
Yeah,
Giants, easy call.
Yeah, I think it was more of a product of versus 49ers versus San Francisco than it was the defense themselves. So certainly one that it may just be easy from here on out. Just play the Broncos or the Arizona Cardinals as your defense, and then just rake in the money because that's what they do every week. They just dominate. So that'll wrap things up here for us for the Sunday recap. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the rest of our great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.